I think we can all agree that abortion is bad, and it would be better if abortion was not a procedure that people requested. However, people do have very legitimate reasons for requiring abortion, such as in cases of rape, and if the mother's life is in danger.
낙태는 진짜 한 생명이지만 그래도 서로가 원치 않았을 때는 아줌마는 낙태가 괜찮다고 생각해. 안 그러면은 그 여자애가 평생 짊어지고 가야 할 업이잖아.
So I personally agree with abortion because not everybody has the choice. Some people get pregnant against their own will. Some people might be forced into that pregnancy, or they might be too young or unstable to take care not only of the baby but even themselves, because there are so many young girls nowadays who get pregnant against their will.
Yes, I think so.
I think they should be prosecuted for making abortion possible.
I think that abortion should not be criminalized.
I do not think abortion should be criminalized.
Except for the extreme cases where baby's birth can severely endanger mother's life. I think in other cases, most likely the baby came to be because of mother and father's careless actions.
Because criminalizing abortion only increases unsafe abortion. I do not think that it decreases or encourages people not to get an illegal abortion.
성폭행이나 강간 같은 그런 예외적인 상황이 아니라면 충분히 피임 방법을 이용해서 원치 않는 임신을 막을 수 있었기 때문에 그런 방법을 사용하지 않고 낙태로 이 생명을 죽이는 행위는 결코 정당화될 수 없다고 생각하기 때문입니다.
What? Are you kidding me? Pregnant? Why not just abort the baby? Raising a child costs more money. I have $1. $1 in my wallet.
What happened? What do you mean you're pregnant?
I don't know. What am I gonna do?
I think there's no other choice than abortion. In-clinic abortion is one of the safest medical procedures you can get, and it's quite common. It doesn't cause problems for future pregnancy, and side effects are relatively rare. You should talk with a doctor.
But isn't killing the baby morally wrong?
The baby is part of your body, so you have the right to decide what you want to do. Think about your own rights. Look.
People don't feel like this is a personal decision anymore. You have politicians talking about it. You have politicians voting on it. You have politicians trying to shame women out of being able to do what feels and is right for their family.
My name is Misa Boker. I'm 29 years old. I'm the Assistant Political Director at NARAL Pro-Choice America.
7 in 10 Americans believe in the values of Roe v. Wade.
In 1973, the United States Supreme Court issued its decision in Roe v. Wade. The effect of the court's ruling was immediate and far-reaching, expanding the right to privacy under the 14th Amendment and altering the legal landscape on the issue of abortion across the country. Norma McCorvey, a single pregnant woman in Texas, sought an abortion. At the time, Texas law prohibited abortions unless performed or obtained to save the life of the mother. To protect her privacy, McCorvey filed suit in federal court under the name Jane Roe. The defendant was Henry Wade, the district attorney in the Texas county where McCorvey sought the abortion. Roe argued that the abortion ban was unconstitutional and asked the court to issue an order that would stop Texas from enforcing the law. The district court found the Texas restriction on abortion unconstitutional on the grounds that the statute was too vague and overly broad and impinged on the rights reserved to people under the Ninth Amendment. However, the court didn't issue an injunction to bar Texas from enforcing its ban, so Roe's options in Texas really didn't change. Arguing that the district court's lack of injunctive relief was insufficient, Roe appealed directly to the Supreme Court.
Yet, our representation does not reflect those values. Not being pro-choice is a liability politically. And I think Republicans and anti-choice candidates know that. And so in order to win elections, they understand that they need to walk some of that back. And part of our charge as an organization is making sure that they're not able to do that. My interest in human rights and politics kind of just intersected with this issue because I think this is a human rights issue. And it's important to understand it in that context. Not having access to really be in control of your own body and your own reproductive choices has a rippling effect on your status in society. The reason why women don't have great jobs, don't have positions of power, don't have access to education is because women are having kids at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and their decision to have that child is not theirs. I, for one, would not like my daughter, or my son for that matter, to grow up in a world that reflects such little value for these personal decisions.
Almost 1 in 3 American women will have an abortion at some point in their lives. But even though the Supreme Court made it legal in 1973, states have been having a party with restrictions since then, testing the limits of federal law. States usually allow abortions when life-threatening health issues are involved or in cases of rape or incest. But otherwise, there are a lot of obstacles. Here are some of the biggest ones women face when it comes to getting an abortion as a matter of personal choice. Obstacle number 1, age. If you're under 18, lots of states require that a parent gets notified if you want an abortion, and some require that a parent gives their consent. In 8 states, mom or dad even has to provide a written letter of consent that's been notarized. Going further, several states require that both parents get notified or give consent. But young women who don't want to tell their rents don't have to in these states. Obstacle 2, time. Legally, even just a week can make a huge difference. 18 states ban abortion past somewhere between 20 and 26 weeks of pregnancy, which is measured from the date of your last period. Abortions before 13 weeks, the first trimester, are the most common and the least restricted. And abortions past 26 weeks in the 3rd trimester are extremely rare. There are only 4 known doctors in the country who perform them. Obstacle 3, money. The average cost of a first trimester abortion nationwide is $451, but it can range between $300 and $950. If you have private insurance, there's a chance it could cover the procedure. We talked to Dr. Alina Salganikov, Director of Women's Health Policy for the Kaiser Family Foundation. And she said that many states actually force private insurers not to cover abortion, and the best way to find out if your policy does is to ask. On the other hand, women who have Medicaid are covered for an abortion in these 16 states. Elsewhere, some states not only ban Medicaid and private insurers from covering it, they also force Obamacare insurers not to cover abortions either. But there are some other ways to pay. Salganikov said many clinics offer help on a case-by-case basis, and she also mentioned the National Network of Abortion Funds, which helps foot the bill for women who can't afford it. Obstacle 4, finding a clinic or doctor. It could be pretty tough to find a clinic if you live in one of these states. Each state has only 3 abortion providers or less. Elizabeth Nash, who works at the Guttmacher Institute, which collects abortion data, says one of the best resources for finding clinics is the National Abortion Federation hotline. They have a comprehensive list of all abortion providers in the country. Obstacle 5, waiting and getting a talking to. In several states, women have to visit a clinic twice. The first time so they can get a lecture, the second time for the actual abortion. In 26 states, women are also required to review state-prepared materials on abortion that may or may not be all that factual, like in Indiana, where a woman is told that the fetus can feel pain before 22 weeks. Women may even be referred to so-called crisis pregnancy centers designed to convince them not to get an abortion. And finally, in 13 states, women need to get an ultrasound before the actual procedure, and in 3 of those states, women are required to look at the image. As you've probably gathered at this point, it's complicated and confusing, often by design. But broadly speaking, it's hardest to get an abortion in Texas, Mississippi, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Who makes it easiest? California, New York, and Washington State. Even just getting the facts on abortion in the US can be an uphill battle, but the more knowledge you have about the laws in your states, the better.
This suction tip, which you can see moving violently back and forth on the bottom of the screen, is the lethal instrument which will ultimately tear apart and destroy the child. It is only after the fluid has been broken, the sac has been disrupted, that the tip will actually come against the child. But we can see the tip moving back and forth as the abortionist seeks the child's body. Once again, we see the child's mouth wide open in a silent scream in this particular freeze frame. This is the silent scream of a child threatened imminently with extinction. Now the heart rate has speeded up dramatically, and the child's movements are violent at this point. It does sense aggression in its sanctuary. It is moving away. One can see it moving to the left side of the uterus in an attempt, a pathetic attempt, to escape the inexorable instruments which the abortionist is using to extinguish its life.
If I keep the baby, what about my studies, my freedom, the money? Am I even capable of raising a child? But if I get abortion, where will I get it? And is it even safe? how about the life of the baby? Do I even have the right to this unborn life? What am I gonna do?
낙태에 대한 세계적인 동향은 어떠한가요?
예, 지금 많은 사람들은 뭐 낙태를 전 세계적으로 막 전면 허용하고 있다 이렇게 생각을 하고 있는데 사실은 그렇지를 않습니다. 낙태를 전면 금지하는 나라의 숫자가 약 131개국에 해당하고요. 그 다음에 낙태를 허용하는 나라가 약 62개국, 전체 전 세계 국가의 약 32%에 해당합니다. 근데 또 이 허용한다고 해서 전면 허용하는 게 아니라 약 임신 11주에서 12주 정도 되는 경우에만 낙태를 허용한다라고 하는 것이 약 39개국, 이 전체 아까 허용되는 62개국 중에서 약 한 60%에 해당하는 나라가 12주 이내로 낙태를 허용해야 된다라고 이야기를 하고, 나머지 국가들은 11주, 12주, 뭐 10주 이하, 10주 이하도 있습니다. 이하도 약 9개국에 되는 건데, 그런 동향에 비추어서 지금 정부가 발의한 예를 들면은 아까 이제 14주까지 전면 무조건 낙태를 허용하고 24주까지는 낙태를 하루에 수기 기간만 두면 낙태를 허용한다라고 하는 경우는 전 세계적인 동향으로 봐서도 매우 극단적인 그거다 이렇게 볼 수가 있습니다.
교수님께서는 생명이 언제부터 시작한다고 생각하시나요?
네, 많은 사람들이 동의하는 것처럼 우리가 이렇게 난자와 정자가 착상이 일어나는 순간부터 그 사람의 모든 형질이 다 결정이 됩니다. 그래서 우리 기독교적 관점에서 봤을 때는 당연히 하나님께서 그 사람이 태어나기 이전부터 모든 계획을 하고 있다라고 하는 가운데 있지만, 실제로 우리가 난자와 정자가 이 착상이 일어나는 순간부터 생명이 시작이 된다 그렇게 이야기할 수 있고요. 보통 우리가 의학적으로 봤을 때 그 사람이 살아있냐 죽어있냐의 가장 기본적인 그 기준은 이 뇌가 죽어 있다 할지라도, 내사 상태에 있다 할지라도 심장이 박동하면은 보통 그 생명체가 살아있다 그렇게 이야기를 합니다. 그래서 미국 같은 경우에 심장박동법이라고 하는 법을 많이 제정을 최근에 와서 많이 제정을 하고 있는데 그 이유는 뭐냐면은 임신 후 6주가 되면은 순간부터는 태아가 심장을 박동하는 물론 그 이전부터 심장이 뛰고 있는데 실제로 이제 사람이 들을 수 있는 소리를 심장이 박동하는 소리를 들을 수 있는 그 시기가 임신 후 6주부터 이렇게 그 심장을 박동 소리를 들을 수 있다라고 해서 6주 이상이 되면은 미국에서는 낙태를 금하는 심장 박동법 등을 이렇게 많이 제정을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 저는 개인적으로 뭐 당연히 난자와 정자가 착상이 되는 순간부터 생명이 시작된다 이렇게 저는 생각합니다.